Brian Walshe is without a doubt the dumbest criminal of all time. Sometime around New Year's, his wife Anna was reported missing by her job. During this time, Brian was on house arrest. Why was he on house arrest, you ask? Oh, nothing, just a little fraud case where he tried to sell 2 counterfeit Andy Warhol paintings. But the fact that he's on house arrest is actually pretty important to this case, because Anna works in Washington, D.C., but they live in Massachusetts because he's not allowed to leave the state. So for work, she is having to commute back and forth between D.C. and Massachusetts. So because a person is reported missing for a couple days, the police decide to open an investigation. When the police questions Brian, he tells them that he had dinner with his wife and a couple friends the night before, and that she had to go back to DC for work. So she had woken up, left for a flight, and he hadn't seen her since she got up and left. And obviously he couldn't have had anything to do with his wife going missing because he had to go run errands. He had to go to a Whole Foods and a CVS, and then to visit his mom, who lives about an hour away. And right off the bat, the police think there's something off about his story. First off, there's absolutely no record of Anna taking a Uber or a flight to DC at all. It just, like, those two things never happened. And on top of that, both the stories that Brian claimed to have visited had security cameras, and they both had no record of him being in the stores on that day. And what seems like the most damning piece of evidence is that Anna's phone pinged near and around their house multiple times every day since she had supposedly left on her flight to DC. So either Anna forgot her phone and instead of taking a plane decided to sprout wings and fly herself to DC, or Brian is pretty obviously lying. At this point, the police are pretty suspicious of Brian and begin looking into him, and they find out that while he didn't go to the Whole Foods and the CVS, he did in fact visit a store that day. It was a Home Depot where he spent $450 on things such as tarps, tape, saws, buckets, mops, all that kind of stuff. All the stuff that you would need if you were disposing a body, some would say. And of course, he paid for it in cash. Now, just a reminder, Brian is on house arrest at this point, and it would be very easy for the cops to identify when he was coming and going from the house. So if you can't already tell, Brian is a bit of an idiot. So Brian is taken into custody for lying to the police and misleading officers during the investigation of his missing wife. While he's in custody, the police search his house, and in the basement they find blood all over the place and some bloody knives. So of course he was charged with the murder of his wife. So despite what seems like the most solid evidence in police history, Brian has pled not guilty, of course. But honestly, that's not even the worst of it. This guy literally went on his kid's iPad and Googled step by step how to kill my wife, basically. Like maybe the number one thing you shouldn't do. This guy's just a criminal mastermind, I swear. Like me telling you about it can't even do it justice. I have to just show you what he was Googling up.
At 4:55 a.m. on January 1st, he searched how long before a body starts to smell. At 4:58 a.m., how to stop a body from decomposing. At 5:20 a.m., he searched how to embalm a body. At 5:47 a.m., 10 ways to dispose of a dead body if you really need to. At 6:25 a.m. on the 1st, how long for someone to be missing to inherit. At 6:34 a.m. on the 1st, can you throw away body parts? At 9:29 a.m., what does formaldehyde do? At 9:34 a.m. on the 1st, how long does DNA last? At 9:59 a.m., can identification be made on partial remains? At 11:34 a.m., dismemberment and the best ways to dispose of a body. At 11:44, how to clean blood from wooden floor. At 11:56 on the 1st, luminol to detect blood. At 1:08, what happens when you put body parts in ammonia? At 1:21 p.m., is it better to throw crime scene clothes away or wash them? Those were on the January 1st. There were also more Google searches on January 2nd. At 12:45 p.m., hacksaw best tool to dismember. At 1:10 p.m., can you be charged with murder without a body? At 1:14 p.m., can you identify a body with broken teeth?
At this point, he might as well just send in a signed statement admitting to doing the murder. And despite all that, he's still pleading not guilty. It's crazy. I don't understand. Like, with all the evidence they already had on him Googling right before his wife goes missing, how to murder my wife and hide the body for the fastest time to get my life insurance collection. This man is literally the world champion in how to get caught for murder bingo. He just did everything you shouldn't do. And then like some extra stuff just in case these were the worst cops ever. He just wanted to make sure he got caught, I think. Now, I'm obviously not condoning murder, But if you're going to do a murder, hypothetically speaking, of course, maybe don't do it while you have an ankle monitor on and then Google step by step the fastest way to kill your wife, get rid of the body, and collect the life insurance as fast as humanly possible. Literally, outside of just doing it inside of the police station and handing yourself over into custody, this is the quickest way to make sure you get caught. Like, Brian was clearly not a true crime fan. He would have known these are the basic do's and don'ts. You can't be doing this kind of stuff to get away with it. Y'all should not be laughing at this. Is an awful situation. Well, Rip Bozo, probably going to prison for a long time, which is, I guess, the best you can get at this point. He brutally murdered his wife and then lied about it. And unfortunately, he has kids, which, I mean, this is an awful situation for them. But him, I hope he rots under the jail for 17 life sentences, and then his ghost is still bound to the prison. But yeah, that's pretty much all I've got. This has been a crazy case. I've been like parceling piece by piece, trying to like, as this has been happening, see, I don't know why I'm just so fascinated by this stuff. And it seems like he's been arrested now with no bail. It just seems like, yeah, he's done. He's toast, which is good, I guess. So yeah, Brian, what was his name? Brian Laundrie? No, Brian Walsh. Not a good time to be Brian. I mean, if you see someone named Brian, just turn around and start sprinting in the opposite direction. They'll do nothing but harm to you. If your name is Brian, go get that changed right now. Okay, thanks for watching. Okay, bye.